All right, so we got our man Jason Stewart on the podcast today. Thank you for hopping on, Jason, and just sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with everyone who's watching. Jason is a six-figure, seven-figure, I don't know if seven-figure profitable forex trader currently. Had a long journey. Was a former Memphis QB in 2016 and transitioned into entrepreneurship, and now here we are. So Jason, just to start it off, what made you to decide to become, what was that thought in your head whenever, or what was going on whenever you made that decision and said, all right, I'm not going to settle for that 9 to 5 job? Was it being a QB? Was it college sports, or what happened, man?
I'll say for me predominantly, I had a very unconventional path. Going Division 1 after 2 years of junior college, and then moving to Denver, Colorado, living with the first round draft pick. Someone who's doing financially well, and yet for me, I had $3,000-4,000 to my name, no vehicle, so trying to make it work. Trying to transition from okay, I was this, athlete that, was receiving a check monthly from the university, to now, I got to figure it out. And so that, for me, that was the biggest transition, was like, okay, what's next? What's now? And it's this identity crisis that we all go through, because we always view ourselves as what we do. And so when you invest that much time into a craft and skill like that, when it's taken away, it's like a bad breakup. It's like,
Yeah, man.
wow, okay, what do I find?
So
Exactly.
whenever you were out there in Denver, Colorado, you were training to literally be in the NFL. So did you get drafted?
No, actually, bro, I skipped my pro day. Once I was done playing at Memphis,
Yeah.
I went in overconfident as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I had had success.
Your confidence.
I had had success in entrepreneurship when I was at Memphis because I had created my own clothing line, where I designed for Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson, Von Miller, Tyrod Taylor, Larry Fitzgerald wore it in the game. Across the board, I was designing custom pieces for some of these guys, and I had just gone into entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur and a hustler my whole life, so going into it overconfident was just something that I was ready to give up football. I had sat behind two phenomenal quarterbacks. The first 2 seasons was Paxton, and my last season was Riley Ferguson. And literally I only got to actually start and play one game, and that was against Cincinnati. I was MVP of that game. So it was like, just let me know, okay, when it is your time to get in, you are cold, you are, you know what I mean? Everything that you do in practice, that's for real. You're just sitting behind more talented people. And what I loved about entrepreneurship, specifically trading, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about trading, is that it's not talent based. It's solely on willpower and mental fortitude, and just the relentless, I gotta make it happen. If not this, then what mentality. And that, paired with faith and paired with the right source, yields some phenomenal results.
Yeah, and dude, I love that whenever you talk about getting into your one game against Cincy. Bro, take me to that right there, because look, you're backup QB, right? You were backup for however many seasons, and you finally get your chance. What was going through your head?
Honestly, bro, that whole week, it was so cool how it worked out and was orchestrated, because that whole week, when we're prepping to play Cincy, I was taking all the first string reps because the starter at the time, my best friend Riley Ferguson, shout out to Ferg, the truth, he actually had hurt his thumb the week before. So they didn't even know if he was he couldn't even grip a football, to the point where I had to take all the first string reps. And so literally the day before game day, he was good enough to grip a ball. They felt like he could still run the offense and everything. But it was cool how God had prepped me because then literally on game day, he goes to throw like a slant, I think it was. He gets hit the back of his helmet, whiplashes and hits the turf. He has a severe concussion. He comes to the sideline, doesn't know what's going on, bro. He's out of it. So coach is like, you're in, you know? And this is like probably, I want to say this is like near the end of the first quarter. So I didn't even start that game. I just came in and, you know, I was in the zone, bro. Like it was everything I prepped for, but it was just cool how, you know, God had already prepped the fact that you think right now he's not going to play because of his thumb, but really he's going to get knocked out. But I'm going to have you ready this whole week just so that way when it's your time to do, you know, what you've been prepping for and sacrificing, like that was my moment, bro. Like that was no scholarships to the Division One number one JUCO quarterback in the nation. And then finally I got to showcase, like, yes, I do this. Like I'm nice. So that was like my moment. But then after that, you know, like every single practice, every week of practice, I promise you was like my games. Like I had more fun than I want to say, you know, the top 10%, the players that are out there every day, bro. I show up and just had fun, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible. Transitioning right there, you just, you know, you mentioned your faith in God right there. Basically, you just knew that he already had it ordained for you basically playing there. They just didn't know that it was going to be for a specific reason. So obviously you have a very strong relationship with God. How has that truly helped your journey in the terms of becoming a profitable Forex trader?
Immensely, bro. I mean, with anything, like literally that's the source of why I think anything's possible. Like not having any, you know, college interest out of when I graduated high school, you know, to then trying to figure out, okay, like what do I do now? Like do I take the uncommonly traveled path, or do I go for it? And at the end of the day, it's like I kept asking myself, like, how would I feel if I don't go for it? Like I'll have to like I feel like holding that weight would be more severe than not making it. In my opinion, that's how I viewed it.
Yeah.
So I still had to, you know, it was a leap of faith. That's what they call it, a leap of faith. So when you're taking that leap, you know, it's important to be connected to something that's allowing you to understand, like, yeah, if you keep, you know, if you keep focusing and planting the right seeds and working and like doing, you know, everything that you're supposed to, there's absolutely no reason why that can't absolutely become exactly who you are. And so it was the same transition. Like I had already seen a dream come true from nothing
Yeah,
to,
that's true.
you know, I had seen it in one field, so I already knew it could happen in any other field, especially since it involves a lot less talent. Like you don't need it. You don't gotta have like, you know, you don't have to run a 4.4. You don't have to bench 600 pounds. You
Yeah,
don't have to be, you know what I mean? You don't have to make everybody miss. Like you
yeah.
can literally sit down, learn these charts, and bag up.
Yeah, man. I saw you bag today, I think, right? Like what, 10K? Pretty sure.
Yeah, bro. I'm still in that order. You know, I'm a swing trader, so
Yeah, it was
I choose my parameters.
your dollar. You're grinding,
Yes,
bro. So
sir. Yes, sir.
um to transition from that, right? So after you're getting out of college, you're under these D1s, man. It's back in 2017. I met up with you in Las Vegas. Nah, this was beginning 2018, and I had just met up with
Yeah,
you in Vegas, and
March
yeah,
2018.
March 2018, man. And we were probably in the same exact position where we were literally just getting started. We're out there with all these extremely successful entrepreneurs. What was going through your head? Where were you in that day and age, March 2018?
Bro, March 2018 led to like one of my best, you know, pieces film wise, and that's literally where I'm walking through Vegas. I got $3, you know, to my name. Literally walking like just still speaking affirmations into my life, like still having a positive attitude, still knowing what's already done. I don't know if you've seen that video, but that's where I was. What's so cool is it's not always about where you are, it's about who you're with. And that whole time I was with my best friend, Dante Lewis. And so for me to see him, absolutely leveling up, and I'm so excited to see what he's going to continue to become. But to know that we were in the same room, still crafting, still planting seeds, everything that we're talking about, and I'm encouraging people to do now is exactly what we're doing. So it's just phenomenal. I mean, even when you were around me, now, obviously, I won't say that you would have assumed I was making six figures then, but you also wouldn't have. I feel like it'd be fair to say you wouldn't have assumed I had $3 to my name. So it's just the posture and the way in which you carry yourself. I feel like is equally as important to what's actually in there. Because if you don't embody and walk in that spirit and walk in that light, then you'll be right back where you started. And that's where it's like you got to bury who you used to be in order to become who you're supposed to be.
Wow, dude. So you're walking around Vegas, $3 to your name. And what I take from that is basically we as entrepreneurs, this is something that I feel like is totally an entrepreneur quality, is we always maintain that genuine mindset of we're already successful in every way possible, in health, wealth, prosperity, abundance, no matter the circumstance that is present in our life. So it's super cool that you were there. I had no idea at all. And it's funny because I'll tell you a story. Like Mike, so I was only 17. No, I was 18. And Mike Sancho, he paid for me to go there, bro. And I slept on the couch in his hotel room, and like they didn't even know I was in there and everything. So that's just what's so cool about being an entrepreneur is you just do what you have to do. It's who you're around. And now look at where you are, man. I mean, you're still friends with Mr. Lewis, right, bro? Like you guys are both in, you're in ATL, Atlanta?
Yes, sir. Been here for a year.
Been there for a year? Cool. What was your biggest failure? And what did you learn from it? So the podcast is called BullThruIt. So everyone's probably most likely going through something. So if you don't mind sharing, whatever you're willing to share, the biggest thing that you've ever been through and what you learned from it.
Honestly, I feel like the most significant turning point in my life was in the midst of even that last time frame we were talking about. Literally between when I got started in Forex, June 26, 2017, to then fast forward to where we had actually met in Vegas, which was March 2018. But that whole, 5 to 6 month span was a lot of what people experience, especially when they're just starting on something new. And it's like natural for people to look at you differently because you're doing something different.
Yeah, man.
It's like, of course they're looking at you crazy because their whole life they've never seen you do it before. So it's like now all of a sudden you do what? And like, you want me to try what? Like, so it just comes with the territory. But I remember my mentor teaching me opinions don't pay the bills. So me always standing true to my vision and what I had, seen possible. Like I wasn't willing to accept a cap or like a limitation on how much I could make, because I would still, even like you look at a lion hunting, like they still have to wake up and go hunt every single day. So I would still choose, even for myself, to like go out and hunt, go line something up, so that way when I do eat, it's like, yo, we got food. And then even if it takes, you know what I mean, a while again for another big hunt, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Just the concept where not many people are willing to like bet on themselves in that manner. And just when you have, once again, that's where maintaining that faith, staying consistent, putting in the work, keeping a positive mental attitude, staying tapped into the Holy Spirit, bro. It's like people want to read about law of attraction, and I don't have anything against those things, but it's all going back to the same thing. Like our spirit is who we are. So even when you see people drink alcohol, liquor, whatever it may be, and they get absolutely turned, like obliterated, they start moving different, talking different, walking different, because they're in a different spirit. They even call those drinks spirits. So it's like when people start walking in a spirit of abundance, which is the Holy Spirit, a spirit of love, which is the Holy Spirit, you see, it's like you start walking in that type of light and that type of energy, and stay tapped in and just understand that that's really the cheat code. But as far as the toughest time, that was it, that transition period of having people support you to then within a month span, you know, like literally my best friend and I went our separate ways, because of the fact that I traded and, you know, was building a network marketing business. And people just viewed it as a scam. Number two,
Yeah.
my girlfriend of 6 years at the time had broke up with me. We just decided it was time to part ways. And then number three, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So at the time, within a 1 month period, you know, all of that was occurring. And so for me to then, you know, I moved back to Erie, Pennsylvania. I was living with my dad, which I absolutely loved. You know, I love my pops. Shout out to him. And spending that time with him every day actually made me more rich in life than, you know, what money could have done. So it's like even journaling that, you know, I literally have a journal that I've been writing in for years, and like literally just going back and seeing the transparency of like what was on my heart. I feel like it's cool because we can remember, but it's like when you see your own like words, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like I put that down, like all these things that are occurring, like I put that down. I was asking God like to give me the strength, give me the guidance, because you know I was tired of the shackles of not ever having more than, you know, 5-10K, like never, bro, my whole life. So it's like, you know, you finally break through those shackles. It's, you know, it's an amazing feeling, but it's still nothing comes close. Like nothing will satisfy that overall, you know, like you have that slight emptiness still, even when you overindulge into any one thing. So that's why I feel like people just really staying connected to, you know, something pure and organic is more important than, you know, it says it clearly too. Chasing money is like chasing the wind. You know, you can't catch the wind. So it's never really been money that I've been chasing. It's just always been the freedom, and then what comes with that. What, you know, the things that I can do, because I know my heart and I know my purpose is to leave some type of impact and inspire as many as possible.
Yeah, man. So what do you want to do with your money?
Yeah, honestly, bro, across the board, man, like there's so many different ways that, you know, that it can go. But for me, it's I understand my gift as well. Like it's not so much I understood like probably within the last year or two that, you know, just putting money places isn't even always the answer. Like you give somebody money, a family or friend that has never been a good manager of it, then
Yeah.
it's gonna disappear and they'll be back to where they were. You know, and that's not to say with every family member or friend, you know, because there might be somebody out there that's just like you, that's hungry, that just needs the opportunity. I know I was in the same boat, but um, it's just the concept where it's like, you know, putting money into something isn't always like the answer. It's using your gifts, using your abilities, investing your time, like
Really.
going, you know, going to other places and videographing and creating pieces that inspire more people to get actual, you know what I mean, active and integrated. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of different, you know, things that we got cooking up. My brother Dante Lewis is creating a nonprofit here within the next year or two. So I'm
Okay.
excited to be partnered up with him.
No way. So what kind of nonprofit are you guys gonna make?
Yeah, bro, it's you're gonna have to wait on that, man.
All
That's
right,
a coming.
all right. Keep it a secret. Keep it a secret. That's cool.
It's still being cooked up, but we, you know, or even think about this, bro, and you'll appreciate this because when I met Dante, it was at that event,
Wow.
and it was at, you know, it was actually excuse me, it was actually an event before that when I met him, because that event we met at GoPro in December, and then that event we had brought both of our teams together in a hotel room. But mind you, this is the key part. We were on separate organizations, like completely separate teams, bro. Like he wasn't under a whole different downline. Like I was with GB and Austin Ghazi, and he was with Dr. Jewel Tankard, and like no connection, bro, at all. Literally, we had met the one time at GoPro,
Yeah.
and it was like from that, it was like, yeah, bro, we're running this together, regardless of if we have the same downline. Like, who cares? Let's help people. And so it's cool to see even that event. Like, we literally had both of our teams all in one, motel room. He and I were sleeping on the floor so people can get beds and couches and, anything. It's like, just like you said, bro, sacrifice. Now, what's phenomenal when you put your perspective glasses on, there's some people who don't even have a couch to sleep on. Some people who, like, it's like the perspective goggles is keep you where you need to be, because you really look at it through those lenses, then it's like, even every little moment, like I don't take for granted those moments, because I heard a bar today where I think it was Fora, he just released some new music, but he said a flower is a reason why it's supposed to rain, and like it reminds him, that, like, certain things need those seasons. Like, a flower needs sun, but it also needs rain. Like, it can't grow without it. So just very interesting concepts where it's so similar to our life. Nothing's always going to be, we are living in a bullish trend, but people are going to experience pullbacks. Like, that's just literally part of it. And I feel like the biggest thing is trying to keep the retracement as minimal as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I think I made a tweet about that before, and that's exactly why I named the podcast "BullThruIt," man. Because we genuinely know through consistency and daily action, discipline, and some other things, commitment. Life actually is bullish. It doesn't matter if we see it as, oh, we're taking one step forward and 5 steps back. Like the true compound effect, I believe. It's not in a monetary result. It's in more of an energy result. It's like the more energy we're putting out, like within our craft or the people in the network and the energy that we're giving, even just by doing this is energy that we're like putting out into, we're putting this out there to come back in return of our craft, like in a compound. And that's the way I see it. Would you agree?
100%. So you always hear me talking about planting seeds, but that's really, it's all the same, bro. Investing is everything.
Yeah.
Like, when people when they understand that to the T, it is everything. Like, there's nothing that's not investing. How you spend your time is the investment. What you eat is the investment. What you watch for TV, like the movies, the documentaries, the commercials, like everything, what you're scrolling, looking at, downloading, the thousands and thousands of downloads that all of our brains get every single day, literally digital downloads into our brain. So all of that is literally an investment. And when people understand that, then it's like, especially your time, like being the most critical one, because money can always be made and money can't go with you. So it's like, if it can always be made back and you can't take it with you, when you leave, obviously, it's like, then yeah, my time is how I spend my time is what needs to be evaluated most critical. And that's something I'm even transitioning on as well. I feel like oftentimes even Q&As, I know, shout out to Mike Sancho, he talked to being therapeutic, but I feel like if anything, it just allows you to talk through your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like we have these conversations with ourselves every day, but when you're verbalizing and giving a response, oftentimes it's easier to give advice than it is to even follow your own steps. But literally, you can see, this is a prime example, a daily planner where, at least writing out things that need to get done.
What are some of the most productive things that you think you've done today, or what's some of the things that you would advise people to do that are watching?
Yeah, it's like people always are like looking for like like a guaranteed like way to it, but I'm such a free flowing, like I'm very although I do like you see the paper and it looks organized, I'm very like spur of the moment as well. I do like to have things slightly organized, but I understand what got me here. That's like my creativity and like even gaming. Like there was a period of time where like I didn't game for like a month, 2 months, like, and it's like I missed it. I'm like, why am I not? Because I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not grinding. I'm not like doing
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to do. But then I started to realize, like, even every once in a while, though, like some of my best ideas, like it just allows me to decompress, and still be, working my brain just in another area.
Yeah.
But
So so do you feel like the limitations that a lot of these like mainstream entrepreneurs put on people, how do you feel about those where it's always like grinding, 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 you can't do this, you can't do that? What would you advise to the viewers kind of in that way?
I'm like I'm very I'm on the same wave, very similar wave as Gary V. Like you'll think you want all these things until you get to like, 47, 48, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, wow, like this is crazy. Like I thought I would want all, and that's my whole point is majority of people don't have their compass set on any one direction. um, Mike Todd, shout out to Mike Todd, my pastor at Transformation Church. He talks about purpose being a direction, not a destination. And that's crucial because if people are doing what they love and still headed in the right direction that they want to be, then it's like you're already winning,
Yeah.
but something that our generation is having to deal with for the first time ever. Literally, we are the first ones to ever have the ability to still see into the microscope that people are posting about, So, like for the first time ever, can your parents, when you leave home, still be watching your life? You
Yeah.
know, it's
And
like look back to the last 100 years and never had that access. Never was possible.
dude, it's so true. That's something I'm so insanely passionate about. I don't know if you realize, but I really don't have any social media. I don't post on anywhere. It has its good effects and its bad effects. My network probably could be way bigger. I could probably know way more people. But then again, when if you met me in person and I was constantly on my phone, I wouldn't be as intentional with you, I feel like. So I feel like it has its good and its bad. What do you feel like is the line to draw the line to where to build your network for your entrepreneurship journey and keep your inner peace?
Such a great question, bro. And it's like you want to talk about like this is a question that my girlfriend and I we have such good conversations about just like because once again it's like I said, so we literally had a conversation less than an hour ago, so constructive, so good, so intellectual, like the way we just were looking at the pros and cons of all of it. The fact that yes, it does give you, a lot of benefits and abilities to see different like viewpoints of certain people. But there's also downsides as well if there's not enough self-discipline. I feel like that's what it comes down to, is just having the self-discipline to decide, okay, when am I on it, and trying to, like actually, do work or be productive. And then that's not to say either, though, that once again, no different than how somebody might spend for gaming and they're in that world. It's like people are easily on social for an hour, if not longer. So I try to, the thing that keeps me going is the messages that I receive of people that, letting me know I'm inspiring them, that I'm motivating them, that I'm a page or story that they tap into frequently to getting fed the right thing. So it's like I know all the downloads that they're receiving. I try my best, not to say I always do, but I try my best to provide at least quality substance downloads. So that way, maybe I post that one thing that spurs them to, pursue their passion or to the book of John and
Yeah.
the walk with Christ to try, so like I just know at the end of the day I'm the messenger, bro. Like everything. Like I don't, what I know is that I don't know. So I never force somebody to believe something just because I believe something. That's not my job. My job is to be the messenger and at least try my absolute best to love them the way that he would. Because at the end of the day, he is love. So it's like, you're not gonna win anyone over or like, try to convert somebody by like, trying to scare them into it or, hate them into it. It's just, like show the same love that he would and, keep it moving, be open-minded, like hear people out. Don't just because you have one viewpoint, but that's obviously we see where we're at right now. You know, it's almost like we it's like the whole two steps forward, one step backward.
Yeah.
It's like they teach you when you're a kid, be civil and have a constructive conversation. The beauty of America is the freedom of speech, and then now it's like if you're red, then
Yeah.
don't ever talk to me. If you're blue, don't ever talk to me.
Yeah. Dude, that's so true, man. And like I feel like this is such a big thing in my life as well. I think it's actually in everyone's life right now. Social media is probably the number one thing in everyone's life because if people aren't going to school, they're doing school online or they're basically meeting every single person they know online. So there's such a line that has to be drawn to where, all right, like I truly am doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, or this is actually taking away from my being intentional and present moment. And that right there is, I feel like the internet has made everyone a very specific person, and you can't really, if you're speaking out, you have to be very cautious about it. So what I have felt is like in the times of political, like right now in the election and all that, the people that are saying, "Hey, you're not my friend because you voted for Trump," or "Hey, you're not my friend, you voted for Biden." Basically, that's just ego, and ego is trying to divide us right now. And that's why I love your message, bro. Is God is love, and if we can love right now, and you're doing what you're doing, I think that's absolutely like incredible. So, what are like the main things that truly make you feel inspired? Is it forex? Is it graphic design? Is it networking? What would you say, man?
Yeah, well, before I even touch into that, it's important for people to understand even what ego stands for as well. Edging God out. So those type of
Facts.
impulses, those type of like your ego is literally edging God out. You're
I
literally
agree, man.
you're blinding yourself from understanding, and it's like that's once again the concept of having the faith to forgive and just like literally take it with a grain of salt. People are willing to fight and ban each other from life because of a certain party. So it's in general, like I keep that stuff to myself is once again no point. Like that's just once again, it's like you look at across the board at certain things that are just pointless, and the overall back and forth right now, it's just no point of getting into it. So when it comes to my overall passion and my motivation, inspiration, trading is just one vehicle. Obviously, I do love trading. Like I found myself about when I decided to actually get in the markets though. It's very specific on me and like making sure my emotions and how I feel are where they need to be. But that's also, why I love EAs because at the end of the day, it's like I don't always have to be on the charts manually. I can still have my money working for me because money is the best employee. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't take vacation. Money is ready to work for you at all times. So when people have their money sitting in a bank account, it's like literally ask yourself right now, what has your bank paid you? in the last 365 days? Like, what has it paid you? And you obviously come to realize, wow, not much. 0.01, 0.02 maybe. And even when you look at retirement funds policies like that, you're looking at 5 to 6 a year. So the whole concept is take bread, plant those seeds in other places, so that way if disaster ever comes upon your land, aka your one bank account, or the one job you have, excuse me, then you'll literally be able to still pull, harvest from those other areas because you've already planted those seeds. So diversifying this is, and once again, these things are all like scripture, kingdom keys concepts where it's like, it only makes sense. If you were a planter, you literally would not just put the seed in the same little circle. You would literally, any place you could plant seed, would plant. We can try to repeat, repeat. But it's like we take our time and we're literally only planting the financial seed, and that one little, you know what I'm saying? That whether it's 9 to 5 or 7 to 4, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of the time, it's like people are just confining themselves. It's not even like they are confined, because we still have the power of choice, and choice being, what am I actually doing with all my time? For the time I'm not asleep, how am I spending? So it's like, even if they just followed themselves with a GoPro and then broke down the footage and were like, what did I do from 7 to 9? Like, what am I
That is
really doing?
so humbling, actually. That, like, imagine, because the social media addiction, bro, like, in reality, a lot of people are waking up, and just getting on. You literally wake up, check your phone, brush your teeth, get the coffee. It's all hypnotic rhythm. So what do you do when you first wake up?
Yeah, honestly, bro, I'm to the point, like, I feel like I even gave my girl a high five today, because like today was my first day in a while where I didn't hit the snooze button. Like I'm big on, I mean, honestly, I believe in routine, and I was excited today because I literally got up on the first alarm and just hopped in the shower. But like, I don't get the greatest of sleep, so it's like, well, that's not true. I do. When I sleep good, I sleep good, but it's just the overall concept of getting into routine is something I'm still working on. But I just know when I am awake and when I am getting after it, like, I'm getting after it, and like my mind is on it. It's like, it's very rarely do I wander and go elsewhere. My ADD allows me to go elsewhere in a good way. Like, I don't view it as a bad thing. I view it as like, I wouldn't have been constructed this way if it weren't to overall, like, allow me to come up with what I come up with. So, it's a gift. It's a gift, just learning how to actually work with it versus like having it try to defeat you, or using it as a crutch, refuse to do so.
I really
It's just a
respect
combination.
I really respect that, bro, because I was watching a movie the other day. I forget the name, but this guy had schizophrenia, right? Schizophrenia is where you see people or see fantasies or something. And basically, he went so crazy that he had to go to the hospital. And, his whole family was like, you have to be on these pills. You got to be on these pills. But then, whenever he was on the pills, he wasn't a good father. He didn't know how to love. His emotions were gone. Yeah, the fantasies were gone, but he didn't live, right? So in his head, he's like, all right, I got to wean myself off these pills and learn how to live with the fantasies. And basically, the fantasies became his friend rather than his enemy. So I really like that. And I think the viewers will really, really vibe with that, because we all have something, we all have that one thing that the world is trying to say, like, this is your downfall. For instance, ADD or ADHD, where we can't focus. And that's a big thing in entrepreneurship as well. So what do you feel like truly helped you make, like, ADD or ADHD your friend rather than your enemy?
Graphic design is what, like, when I first started editing, first started doing Photoshop, designing, that's where it was, I view that already as a good thing. Even in football, like because my peripherals are as good as they are, my sight is very very good. I wish my hearing was as good as my sight, because it's not. But I'll literally be able to see things moving around. I would be able to look in the middle of the field, but still see stuff going on back here. And it's like the ADD almost was this is playing quarterback. It would almost allow me to like go through the checklist, rather quickly. So, it's like certain things like that where it's like, okay, on paper in a learning environment where you're in class and there's not much interaction back and forth having to answer, like, yeah, it can be difficult. It's like, I'm literally, I would sit there and be like, all right, come on, stay focused, stay focused. But now all I'm hearing in my head is stay focused, stay focused. Like, come on, lock it in, lock it in. And then I'm like, wow, I'm not even hearing anything she's saying. And so it was just when I was paying attention, the ability, because I wasn't even taking notes at that point, bro. And it was like
Yeah.
just the raw ability to either be good at, remembering what I heard,
Yep.
or just lesson and like trying to at least sit next to the smart kid that could give me a good enough grade to pass. That's just the truth. Like,
Yeah.
I just knew at the end of the day that it wasn't gonna ultimately, like a lot of those classes, algebra, chemistry, nothing against them for people that actually utilize them in today's day. But if your parents can't go back and pass the class, you know what I mean, then it's like, is it really even that serious? um
Yeah.
that's just the truth. I feel like, once again, this has been talked about many times, but the overall curriculum needs to be relooked in a conversation, because it's like, do they really want us tapping into these keys? Do they really want people being informed on this type of information? Or is it best to just leave it the way it is and try to, allow people to fend for themselves? Because information is accessible to everybody. It's not like it's not like you don't have the same Google that I have, or the same YouTube that I have. So it's not resource, it's not lack of resource, it's just lack of self-discipline or lack of direction. Um, because there is no, I feel like there's no guarantee. It's like, figure out what your flow is, like, and try to craft that every day. Write down what your ideal day looks like from start to finish, what breakfast you have. Like, it's difficult to do, and it changes. Like, it's so interesting, bro. These conversations, like my girlfriend and I, we have these all the time. Where it's like, what does it look like the perfect day, and that will give you an idea of, like, what you want your life to look like, and then that's the direction. It's like, that's how you set your compass, And so, even the same thing with affirmations. You see me post about the affirmations today, but like, literally, bro, these were for the last 2 years I've been reading affirmations off the back of my phone, and I literally,
Love that,
you
man.
know, each year it's like a goal of mine to create a new set of what I am, and
So
just
beautiful.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, I right now on my board, I have this is exactly what you asked for, because it's a constant reminder of literally everything that's in my life right now is basically what I've asked for, whether it was 6 months ago, based on my actions, my discipline, and my commitment. What's going on in my life right now is exactly what I asked for, whether it be in the future or past, because this is exactly what my soul needs right now, where it is. And that's why I love affirmations as well. Um, there was one more other thing I wanted to talk to you about, man, and it is, what is a question that I didn't ask you that you really wanted to talk about? Is there anything?
Uh, Honestly, just the only thing that I ever, like, I'm always adamant about, like, getting across to the viewer, anyone that's still listening at this point, um, is just the concept of, like, do you, like, truly, like, but still it requires sitting down and deciding what you is. That's even the point of affirmations. Like, why would you rush creating it. You know what I mean? Even me saying 30 to 40 minutes, that's rushing. Like who would legitimately, prime example, if I said everyone, whatever you write down is guaranteed for a fact. What if, like I was Robin Williams, the genie, shout out to the original Aladdin. I like the new one too, but I'm partial to the OG.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine, bro, imagine if I literally said, you have 10 affirmations and whatever you write down about yourself will come true, guaranteed. Like, how much more serious, how much more thought would people would take days to figure out and curate, what they would actually write. So I look at these no different than like an album cover. Like it's cool to even look back at the last 2 years and see everyone's living their own constructs.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching till the end. Obviously, Jason has a ton of value that he dropped in this. Jason brought the energy and the fire, obviously. And we didn't really go into his story too much. Like, he was dropping a lot of wisdom. But Jason, if you can follow him on Instagram at QBStew, Facebook, all that, I'm going to drop all of his links in there. If you want any specific link in there, bro, I'll put that in there as well, like to any of your companies or anything. I'll do that. We'll plug it all. But yeah, go follow him on Instagram for sure. He has an amazing graphic design portfolio, and obviously he's making big moves in the Forex market as well. You can see he had like 103K day. So, and the guy is still obviously so humble, which I appreciate that so much, man. Your humility is incredible. So thank you guys for watching.
Yes, sir, bro. It's like literally.
What'd you say?
Yeah, my fault. It's the lag. My fault, bro. You good?
The lag got us. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching and hope you loved it. Leave a like and comment.